Hey guys, it's Mari. I have a card making process here for you today, and I'm going to be using this gorgeous stamp set from AlteNew called Extra Special. And I'm just stamping this image out here with the floral and the leaves on some Canson watercolor paper using some Versamark ink. And I'm going to just heat emboss some black embossing powder onto my image here. You're just seeing me there putting the embossing powder onto my watercolor paper, and I'm going to just get that on there nice and evenly. I have treated the watercolor paper previously with my powder tool, my little powder pouch, and I'm going to just make sure that I've got lots of black embossing powder on there before I go ahead and heat set this image. So I'm just tapping off the excess powder there. I'll just scoop up the rest of this powder before or after I spill it. And then I'm just going to go ahead and heat that up and melt it. So I've got that all melted now. And now I'm going to take some of my Zig Clean Color Rail Brush pens, and I'm going to use a few different colors here on creating the flowers and the foliage. So I start off with some light pink. And I'm just taking my water brush there just to move the ink around. Start off with my lightest color. So I just went in with that really, really light pink, and I just moved that around so that it's even. Then I went in with some pale green to start the leaves off. And now I'm going to go in with a darker color of both pink and green just to create a little bit of dimension on my floral pieces here. So I just put the darkest at the tip of the flowers, and I'm just working that down towards the center of the petals. And you can see that it just leaves the darkest edges at the tips of those petals. I'm just taking the excess ink off as I go there, just so that I don't end up with that dark color all the way down my petals. And now you can see I'm going in with green, and I'm going to just darken up the edges of those leaves at the outer edge and work that towards the center of the leaf, or the tips. And I'm going to just go over all of my different pieces of foliage now and my petals with some clear Wink of Stella just to add a little bit of shine. And I didn't show the entire coloring process here just because it's just the same thing over and over again, and it's pretty simple. And I just love the effect that you get with these Zig pens. They're so easy to use, and they do they absolutely leave just a really, really nice coloring finish when you're all done. So I'm just taking my powder tool there again, and I'm going to do some more heat embossing here. This is some Strathmore Bristol Smooth paper, and I'm going to just take some Versamark ink on this stamp, which is an MFT lined up dots background stamp. And I've just applied some Versamark ink on there. I'm going to go ahead and use some Wow Pearl Gold Sparkle embossing powder on that. And I'm going to create a background for my card. And I absolutely love this embossing powder. It's so gorgeous and so sparkly and shiny. I think you can see that. Even though this camera doesn't always capture the beauty of all of the different sparkly elements on a card, it I think really captures this embossing powder just because it's so beautiful. And I then took my scallop stitch frame from My Favorite Things, and I created a scallop border for this emboss piece here. And I'm just going to glue that on here with some Tombow Mono. I really love this glue just because it leaves you a few minutes to move things around. When you put them down, it just has a little bit of open time there before it sets up, so you have a little bit of wiggle room there for placing things exactly where you want them. So I've just got that scallop border glued down now, and I'm going to take some Pool Party Stampin' Up paper, which I have cut to create a 5.5 by 4 1/4 card. Just folded that in half, and it's going to be a side folding card. Now I just took my ATG, I've glued that front panel onto the card, and now what I did off camera was I fussy cut that floral piece that you saw me coloring at the beginning with the Zig pens. And I'm also going to stamp out my sentiment here with some VersaFine ink. This sentiment is from that Extra Special AlteNew stamp set again, and I'm going to take the handmade tags die from AlteNew and just cut a little die shape around that. So it's just in a little square to create that square tag. So that's from Handmade Tags. And I'm going to just take some pop dots and I'm going to pop this up onto some foam dimensional adhesive here, and that will give it some nice dimension on my card front. And those foam adhesive dots are extremely sticky, and I won't have any problem adhering that to the embossing powder, which has kind of got a little bit of a rough surface to it because it's got that glitter in it. And these little foam dots will adhere to that nicely. So I'm going to just take the release paper off the back of those foam dots and stick those down. And now you can see that's a really nice dimensional piece there for my card front. I'm going to just take a little bit of gold thread here, or gold twine, and I'm going to tie my little sentiment on the front, and it just says, "Thought of you today and smiled," and I really love that sentiment. I'm going to finish my card off by taking some matte multi-medium glue, and I'm going to glue down some Pretty Pink Posh clear sparkling sequins, and that is going to finish off my card today. So this is a really quick little process here for you. I love how this card turned out. You could give this card for a lot of different occasions. It's kind of a pretty generic card, and I really like how it turned out. I think it's got a lot of really beautiful elements to it. So thanks so much for stopping by my channel today and for checking out my card process. I had a lot of fun with this, and I just love the AlteNew products. They're gorgeous, and it's kind of fun just to go into your stash and take a bunch of different things and put them together to create a beautiful card. So thanks so much for stopping by, and I'll see you another time. Bye-bye.